Hello, and very welcome to the IAESTE ESBL podcast. In this episode, I will meet up with the hidden heroes of IAESTE ESBL. It is our volunteers who are working with our IT manager to keep our IT infrastructure working. So I will meet up with Jerry and Martin, Samuel, Parchi, and Aditya, and discuss with them what motivates them to be in the ITS team, how they see their work, how they feel like about the future of IAESTE and how they joined IAESTE and how they joined the ITS team. Actually, I'm really looking forward to them because in our modern world, we very often assume IT infrastructure to be working. We just complain if it's not working. And those 5 volunteers are really putting the work in to keep our IT infrastructure working, to keep it up to date and to improve it by day to day. So I'm really looking forward, and I think it's really worth it to put them into the spotlight in this episode to show you who is working in the background for the IT, in the IT support, in the system administration, and who is developing the Exchange platform we are all using every day to be better year by year, month by month. So please enjoy this episode with our ITS volunteers, and thank you very much for listening, and enjoy. Hello and welcome to the IAESTE ESBL podcast. I'm joined today by the hidden heroes of IAESTE ESBL, the ITS team, a group of volunteers taking care about IT infrastructure. So I'm joined firstly by Jerry. Hi, Jerry.
Hi.
By Martin.
Hey.
By Parchi.
Hello.
Aditya.
Hi.
And Samuel.
Hello.
Thank you very much for being with us today. It's actually quite amazing what you're doing for us, and we wanted to bring you here to put you a little bit into the spotlight, because without the ITS team, actually our IT would not be as amazing as this is at the moment. And to go into a little bit more detail right now, Jerry, let's start with you, because you are, let's say, the oldest member of the ITS team, right?
Yeah.
So, Jerry, tell us a little bit, when did you join ITS and what's your profession in real life, so to say?
Yeah, I joined the ITS, I think October 2015. That was just before I started my master's degree. And my profession now, I'm working in Norway as a software engineer. And from time to time, I help with fixing bugs on the EP.
Yeah, great. So in 2015, that was it even before Michael De Bono, actually? Was it still Vanya, or did you join together with Michael?
Yeah, I think it was Michael. Michael was there. Yeah, we had a meeting in Stuttgart with a couple of their new members.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for being with us. Next one on my list is the second oldest member already, actually. I remember when you joined, Martin. It was around SID 2017 in Macedonia. Martin, yeah, please also. What's your profession? And yeah.
Yeah, so currently I'm doing a PhD in the area of fault tolerant systems and testing autonomous driving. And yeah, I joined the ITS shortly after the SID. On the SID, I had a talk with Michael De Bono, and he said like, oh yeah, it would be great if I could join. And yeah, then we talked a little bit about it. And I think in the beginning of 2018, then I finally joined the ITS.
Yeah, great. I actually really remember that, because you're from Austria and you always were very involved with international IT infrastructure. And I remember Michael telling me he was very glad that Austrian people wanted to join, because there was already kind of involvement from IAESTE Austria to ITS, and now all the know-how was going also to the ITS team. Then next one is actually Prachi. Working also with mainly EP user support. Prachi, same question to you. Short introduction, please.
Yes, so right now I am a student pursuing Bachelor's of Technology in Computers and Communication. So I served for IAESTE India LC Manipal, and because of which I got an opportunity to have a call with Kushagra, and then I got the opportunity to serve in the ITS as the ITS administrator. I joined ITS in the year 2020 around February.
Okay, cool. And yeah, you mentioned Kushagra, and he's the IT manager, and we purposely excluded him from this call because everybody normally in the IAESTE community knows Kushagra as the support team member, but this one is about you. And we were really happy because he brought not just you in, but two other volunteers. I'm now coming to, and together with you, Aditya joined actually, and doing also a lot of EP user support. Aditya, same question again to you, and short introduction, and then we come to Samuel.
Hi guys, I'm Aditya. I'm studying in the same college as Prachi. I'm doing my bachelor's in computer science. We both got to know about IAESTE through our university. We both were LC members of IAESTE LC Manipal. Prachi was the IT manager, and I'm currently the head incoming of IAESTE LC Manipal. And through that only we got to know about the ITS and Kushaga and a faculty advisor. We joined ITS.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, as far as I know, also Kushagra was part of the LC in Manipal, as far as I know, right?
Yeah, before he became the NS of IAESTE India.
Yes, indeed. He used to be national secretary, but and then he joined and followed Michael De Bono once. Michael said he wants to leave IAESTE because he got a new job actually. So and last member now, not last member, but the youngest member, so to say, is Samuel. And yeah, Samuel, also, I believe you are also from Manipal, as far as I'm aware.
No, I'm not from Manipal. I'm from another
sorry.
university. Okay, so I'll just go ahead with my introduction. So as you said, I'm the most recent member in the ITS team, but I've been with ISTE for a long time. So I was lucky enough to be part of like every level of ISTE. So I started my journey in LC Karunya, which is Karunya University, is one of the LCs of India, and I was serving there as in corporate, and then I luckily got promoted to the national committee, and that was the same committee that was selected by Kushagra. So when Kushagra was the national secretary, the next batch of the national committee was my batch, and I was lucky enough to be head of public relations, and was very fortunate, as Mark, you may know, that I was a delegate at the 2019 conference in Cyprus, and that was an amazing experience. And when I was serving as in the national committee, that is when Kushagra got elected to the ITS. So that's how I came to know about. Already knew about the ITS, but that's when it became very popular among all of us. And this year, luckily with the help of Kushagra, I've been given this opportunity to be in the ITS team, and it's a really good journey, and hope this journey just keeps getting better.
I can also say I really hope for IAESTE ESPL that all of you stay with us a very long time, because there's a lot of things to do, but we will come to that throughout the next question round actually. And of course, Samuel, I remember when we had our conversation in Cyprus in 2019 actually. But yeah, let's coming, and because all of you have different roles within ITS. I think that's also something people don't really know. Like I said, they know Kush when he's the manager, but there are really certain tasks every one of you is doing because of your background, because of your field of interest. I think that's a very important point. As you are volunteers, you of course should do something you're interested in. So Martin, now time for you going first. Kush told me you are the system administrator. So first question to you is, are you actually interested into all the system engineering, having in mind your PhD topic actually?
Yeah, so it's not so related to my PhD topic, but yeah, I'm still interested in doing that. And so as I have a computer science background, it's always interesting to see, okay, how are large scales, how a large system handled. And that's really nice.
So maybe explain us a little bit, like I said, you are the system administrator, but what's your, let's say, day-to-day task, or hopefully not day-to-day task, keeping in mind that I know what system administration, but explain us a little bit, what's your task?
Yeah, so usually if nothing goes wrong, I don't have so much to do. But I'm basically responsible to keeping the website alive, to changing domain names and stuff like that. So if there's a new site for IAESTE, then usually I have my fingers in there and redirect the domains and stuff like that. And of course, if some error occurs, then I have to dig deep into, okay, what happened, and try to fix the issue.
So basically, maybe for also another explanation, when we receive a lot of emails that the Exchange platform is down, I think you are coming into the equation and you help us to put it up again.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's actually one of the most stressful times actually on during your life, because keeping in mind that you are also working full time, right?
Yeah, that's.
How often did it happen already?
So fortunately, the Exchange platform is very stable, but we have some problems sometimes with our mail server. So probably some of you noticed it already. And this happens like once or twice a year. Okay. So fortunately, not that often, but if it happens, then of course we try to fix it as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I think it's always quite interesting because you normally never hear about your system administrator, only if something is going wrong. And that's like a really important work. And thank you very much for that, Martin. And yeah, let's go on to Prachi. Like I said already shortly, you're mostly working within the EP support, which means in the end that if an IAESTE Exchange administrator is sending an email to its.es@ieste.org, you are one of the persons taking up these tickets, as we call in IT infrastructure. So Patrick, explain us a little bit what's your day-to-day task then with IT user support and what you're doing also additionally in ITS.
Right. So my role majorly, I'm majorly responsible for answering queries of countries that, usually they have regarding the Exchange portal, and mainly playing around the Exchange portal, creating reports and for countries whenever we've been asked to, make reports and send across to them. So yeah, that includes my day-to-day activities on the Exchange portal. Plus, there are projects that we keep working on, which like with the ITS, with Kushagra, with Aditya. So we keep working on certain projects, and yeah, that's about it.
How often do you actually meet with Kushagra, like as a team?
Right. So I think we meet once or twice in 2 months, and we are constantly in touch over platforms like Slack.
Yes, indeed. So internally, ITS is using Slack, which is, for everyone
Yes.
who does not know, Slack is a communication tool where you have like channels and direct messages. So the point is not sending another huge amount of emails, right?
Right.
And maybe, Patrick, can you tell me a little bit about those other projects, if you're allowed to? But in general, we are very open from IAESTE ASBL perspective. But I think you were also very involved into the current dashboard we are doing regarding the status of the exchange.
Right. So, like I mentioned, projects such as the dashboard, as you mentioned. So, there are certain things that you need to do internally, like, writing some queries and all of that stuff. So, that is included in such projects.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Aditya, also you are mainly with user queries. So if someone is asking for help on the Exchange platform, you're also taking care about them. So please also tell us a little bit, okay, what's your focus point? And if you have another interesting project within ITS, just also tell us a little bit about that. Yeah.
I guess Prachi pretty much summed up our work. We reply to queries every day, exchange administrators and the national committee email us regarding change of drafts, statuses. We have also made reports, and we are currently working on projects under Kushagra, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's very because there are certain things ITS and administrators can do what even national secretaries cannot do. That's like includes changing the status of an offer. Sometimes you don't see it anymore because it got canceled or something. And there we are always very. I remember when I was exchange coordinator in IAESTE Austria, I always dropped an email and was like, please revert this offer to this status, or please add this student to this status. And that's not possible from our side. And that's why we have you. And thank you very much, because that's, I believe, quite time intensive. How many hours per day or per week can you estimate how much time you spent there, Aditya?
As in when we get mail, we try to reply to them as soon as possible. Reports take some time, but replying to queries is as and when you log into your email.
That's okay, great. Thank you. I think it's anyway, we have a rule of 48 hours, and I think ITS is much faster in general, what I know from my personal experience. We are all also very involved into the reports, and it brings me actually to Samuel, because asking Kush for the role, he wrote to me that, Samuel, you are mainly involved into all those reports. And additionally, and that brings me also to your background, because I saw on your LinkedIn that you're a lot into AI and data analysis. So, and we are collecting a lot of data in the EP. So maybe Samuel also explains a little bit which kind of reports you're doing and how it works in the EP that you're doing reports.
Yeah. So as you, one thing I forgot to mention is I work as a data analyst, as a full-time data analyst for uh, a company that provides AI solutions in retail. So one thing that with me and Kushagra is that you got a slight hint of it at the GC, at the AC, which just concluded because we had a session together and we had conducted a session. So in that we spoke about some of the reports that we already done, and basically what Kushagra and I have in the plan or the future is that we want to use all this data to enable better decision making and to enable the ASPL and the entire boards and the every national secretary around the world to make better decisions, so that because we are getting so much of data and there is a lot of information that you can gather out of it, and so that is where we are trying to build reports and build certain machine learning models that can enable better predictions and better understanding of the data of this huge data that we are collecting.
Yes, indeed. So basically, what's happening is, what some people are maybe not aware, the EP, what exchange administrators see is just, let's say, the front end and the user interface. But when you are able to go into the back end, as an example, you can put out data like how long does it take for one nomination, as an example, when it was submitted by a national committee, how long does it take that it get accepted by the employer, as an example. And therefore, when you sum this up, you see a quite interesting curve, actually. And you can put out minimum and maximum time of a certain country. Like, let's say here in Austria, we actually have a lot of offers which are accepted quite fast, but we also have a lot of them which take quite some time. And I think that's a very interesting point. And one of the main points we are working on, please elaborate a little bit. Everyone is always asking if we have the data. And in general, yes, we have it, but we have to build a report. Can you maybe explain a little bit how it works internally that you can do these reports? I think that would be interesting.
So far this is the first time that a data analyst position has been introduced to the ITS team. So far, what I've noticed with the ITS is that we have been using apps like Excel and Word. So these are good apps and quite useful, but they're not state of the art. And so that's why with me and Kushagra, what we are trying to do is we are trying to convert these Excel reports into Power BI. And so again, I'm going back to the workshop we conducted. So one of the main apps that I was using or portraying to the entire all the ISTIP NCs around the world was the Power BI app, because it you can show so much of data and so much of information in just a few graphs, which is not possible through huge Excel reports, etc. So one of the main projects, or projects that Kushagra has and me are trying to do is converting these reports into Power BI, so that it's easier for even for non-technical people, or for generally, because people are just so scared of data. They see 100 rows and it's very scary, and so that's why we just want to make it more synthesized, more easy to understand, and just portray the most important information, so that it's an easier decision making process for everyone around the world.
Indeed, actually, what I read once is like the world is full of data, and also when we have so many things around us. But the job of a good data analyst is to put out the data which is interesting, and not like to swarm the flood and flood you everyone with data. Because also when somebody's asking, do we have the data? In general, yes, we have it. We only have to extract it from all the data we have. That's I think the most difficult point. And here, I think we come here to Jerry actually, because Jerry, like you said, you are part for nearly 6 years now at ITS. Did you think about it that way already? 6 years?
I know I feel like the past 2 years just went so fast because of the corona, but I never thought I've been there for almost 6 years. So it's yeah.
Being in being in ITS for 6 years, wow, that's really a long term time of service. If you think a normal volunteer or the average volunteer over the globe, we also know that interestingly is around 2 years in IAESTE. And you exceed that by a lot. And sorry, I will start again, because I just got a notification that somebody signed into the IAESTE ESBL account. I hope nothing breaks down. Yeah, I never had that before. I blocked it on the calendar, so I will come. I start over again. So Jerry, you are within IAESTE now 6 years, and how do you think, how did it develop actually? I think it would be very, very interesting when you think back, first meeting in Stuttgart, like you said, with Michael De Bono back then, and now, what do you think changed the most? Beside the fact, I think that we now have the Exchange platform. I think you know that already before Exchange platform. Is it possible?
Yes. So when I joined, we had the old Exchange platform, but only for 3 months while I was there. But it was in the January in 2016 when we went to Ireland, and we had a training with Smart and Simple of how to use this new system. So I think the first year and first 2 years were a bit bumpy because it was the first time we were trying out the new system. So our job was basically always testing. We had a lot of like user scenarios, and we kept testing every week. And as a year went by, every new AC, things got better, and you can see smiles on people's faces, and they were happier with the new system. So yeah, we thought that was a good win, and we were happy. We felt like we've actually made an impact in IAESTE workflow.
Indeed, I can tell you made a huge impact actually, because I remember IntraWeb like it was before. I don't remember I remember IntraWeb 4, I believe, and I think IntraWeb 3 a little bit. But let's not talk about the past, because let us do like this never happened, okay?
Yeah.
Your main focus actually, what Kush told me, is EP development. So can you tell us a little bit how this is working, because or how much you can actually change within the EP, as an example?
Yeah, so as we know that the Smart and Simple system is more like a plug and play thing. It's more like you drag objects to make them work. So for example, like what we've done in the last year. We've added some new features, like you see that the front interface was changed, and that's basically very dynamic modules we just put together, which shows the flexibility of the smart and simple system. But it's not always so easy, because sometimes we run into some issues, and then we have to maybe spend a good week or 2 weeks trying to figure it out ourselves before we escalate it to smart and simple to ask for help if we need. But yeah, over the years, we've learned how the system works, and so it gets easier to know when we can say, hey, we can actually do this, or if we need help. And so we've been able to save some time in that way.
So maybe for everyone listening, you also, what maybe some people don't know, maybe they know it. There is the EP everyone knows when you Exchange administrator, or if you're a student, you log in. But there is also a second version, which is the backup version, where you do your testing. So maybe can you introduce us a little bit your development process, like in general,
Okay.
like you have an idea, then you implement the test and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, so for example, let's say we got a bug, like maybe an EA from this country said there's a nomination here, but we cannot find the offer for this nomination, or an offer status changed and vanished in the system. So what we do is that because the backup server is basically a copy of the live server, every 24 hours it gets copied over. So we log into the backup server, and we try to search for this offer or nomination that got missing, and we try to find out why it got missing. Maybe there's a state in the workflow where there's a hole, or like we did not see. So then we try to fix it. Then we try to replicate the error, and if we cannot replicate the error, then we assume it's fixed, or we say it's fixed. Then we go over to the live server and tweak it. All the configurations that we did in backup, we do it in the live server. And then we let the EA know that this has been fixed, if they could also have a look and get back to us, so we know if it's been fixed. And we also have like an issue tracker, which we keep track of issues. So once that's been fixed, we take it off. And it's always nice to see a curve up when things have been fixed.
So that's a good point. Like we have an issue tracker. I think that was also actually a general conference decision. So the highest decision body said, okay, you should track all those tickets, and once per year throughout the general conference, Kushagra, the IT manager, has to report how many tickets, like all those bugs and so on in IT. We say tickets normally. I'm speaking like I'm in IT. I'm not in IT, but I know the system because I can tell you in electrical engineering very often you do the same. We have tickets with these bugs from the customer, so you can look into that. And I think it's a tremendous achievement after since we have the EP. When I think back the first introduction, where I think we were sitting in South Korea back then at the annual conference, and you were just able to submit to put an offer in, and you were able to submit nominations. When you now look into what we are now able to do with the AP, is tremendous difference, and I hope we really have the AP for a very long time.
Yes, I hope so too.
Yes. So coming to our next round of questions, actually is a more personal question, actually, and I wanted to start with our student volunteers, actually. So I mean, sorry, Martin, you are a student, but I consider a PhD student more already as a full-time job. I'm sorry. So let's start with Prachi, actually, this time. So my question is, looking back now, since you not just joined ITS, but you, let's say, discovered IAESTE, so how do you feel about your experience and with IAESTE, and how did it help you till now for in your day-to-day life as a student? And I'm not just talking about ITS, but how did IAESTE help you in the end? So that's the question.
Right, so I discovered IST in my first year of college, which I am very glad about. So I think I was exposed to a lot of things, talking to a lot of people, working in team, and my learning graph had grown tremendously because there was so much work to do. You always had to be on your feet and all of that stuff. So working for IST India LC Manipal was a very, very good experience. And then working for the ITS, I got to know a lot of people, spoke to people across the globe, and I think that is something that a student needs to learn, like picking up skills on the go, talking to people, and all of that. So I think IST helped me a lot, uh, developing skills as such.
I saw on your LinkedIn profile actually that you're quite active actually in a lot of student association. I saw the IEEE and some others I don't know. Um, how would you describe IAESTE being different, or because you're having this more international level experience, or what do you think? Why does IAESTE stand out? Not saying the others are not amazing, of course, they are, but why is IAESTE even more amazing?
So as I said earlier, that working in team is something that IST had taught me, and I think that is very important skill, which I think I've explored in a lot of ways as working in the team. So the other clubs that I was a part of usually have like one-on-one interaction with the seniors, and we have like projects to work on. But uh, as a part of the I Stay family, I think that I learned how to, kind of interact with people and understand how people play a major role in teams and working, how you have to like, switch yourself and, just be with every person and tackle situations as a team and not as an individual. So I think that is something that stood out different in IST.
That's a really wonderful description actually, because working in teams is so amazing in a lot of roles in a lot of companies, and this is something you have to learn by doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you. So let's go to Aditya. It's actually the same question to you. So how did IASTE help you, or what did you learn?
I would like to say that ISTA has made college life more bearable. It's a distraction from the studies. Back in LC Manipal, we make friends all across the group. We have interns coming in. We have students going out for the internships. We have events. Uh, there's a lot of communication, and working in a team, working with the LC, has taught me a lot of things. And there are people who have not started or volunteered for the organization while in college. So I think I'm a step ahead in life.
Mhm. I think that's also. I mean, for me personally, it's never like being a step ahead, but I think you gain so many special experiences you can use afterwards. I think Pachi summed it up really well. Working in teams, I don't know how is it in Manipal actually. Do you have a lot of group projects throughout college, and maybe yes, there was helping you there, or maybe not, with getting along with colleagues from university?
So our local community strength is of 60 to 80 people. We have three hierarchies: the senior board, the junior board, and the local committee. So I've been a part of all the three. I'm currently in the senior board, head incoming. So when you start off as LC, you have to work in teams, organize events, look after the interns, take care of the accommodation, their food, visa assistance, various immigration forms that you have to fill. All of that has to be done in teams.
Mhm.
And as you grow, as you move on, you have to now manage people. So it has also taught me management skills.
Yeah. Yeah, that's indeed. I mean, um, meeting so many people is one of the really enriching things about Yes. And I'm really happy that you are with us, because, like I said, being volunteer, especially besides studying, is very exhausting. I'm really happy that all of you are with us. And yeah, Samuel, like we talked already a little bit about AC in Cyprus, I assume this is one of your biggest moments in IAESTE, and or maybe not, I'm not sure, but tell us a little bit about your experience and what IAESTE taught you.
Yeah, definitely. The AC was like the flagship moment so far, but I'm pretty sure there are better opportunities and better moments to come. So it's just the best moment so far. But just like Prachi and Aditya said, like what ISTE India has to offer is quite unique. So I was also a student quite recently. I recently just graduated in 2020, and my experience was also quite similar. And it's just these experiences you can't get with any other organization, because when I was in a local committee, I could interact with all the interns. I've made so many friends just through that experience only. I'm still connected to those foreign interns, like on Facebook and Instagram. And then also when you get to the national committee level, you get to make friends with people around the country. Like for example, um, like I made friends from Manipal. I have many friends from Manipal, despite being from a different university. I have friends from the other universities that have ISTE in India. And obviously coming to the AC was the best experience, because again it's like you're meeting so many new people that you'll never meet. Like if ISTE was not there, we would not be sitting here, we would not be in this place, and we would not be talking, and we would never even know that each other exists. And also the AC, what the unique opportunity that it provides is, I think, Mark, if you're involved in the exchange, then you may be familiar with it, but there is some sort of pressure as well, because we are carrying the load of the entire country with us. So if we don't have a good exchange, then our country will suffer. So those experiences you can't get, like and no other student can get with any other organization. So at such a young age, you're dealing with pressure, and you're dealing with working with a team. And so that was quite a, like, lessons I learned from the AC experience and generally from ISTE.
Yes, I think I totally agree here as well. And I really like this positive attitude you have at the moment. Like there are so many good things to come. And I really hope that we all will have all those positive experiences with IAESTE coming further. And hopefully we will have a physical annual conference in 2022. So we all meet again, and then we can have this, another really great experience. Aditya, you want to add something?
Yeah, I will just want to add that after a point you become attached to ISTA, and the work becomes a daily routine in your life. It just uh, becomes in a routine. You don't have to
Absolutely.
take stress or anything.
Yes, it's like a working place, isn't it? And maybe that brings us already to Jerry. How is it for you for being now, a professional software developer and combining IAESTE in your day-to-day work?
Yeah, it's pretty nice because like I'm always on computer, and sometimes I just see like an email, and if it's a bug I can fix in 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can quickly fix this. And it's also nice because I learn new things when I program for clients on a daily basis. And sometimes I think, how can we apply this to ISDA? For example, we had this idea of like a QR exchange system, just using QR codes to scan. And the other day, for a client, we had some QR code implementations that we had to do. Then it kind of brings back memories of ideas we've had of how to make the exchange system more seamless. So it's quite nice being able to compare between two different companies. Yeah.
So actually you were also able to use ITS ideas and so on in your day-to-day, professional, day-to-day job.
Yes, yes.
That's really cool. And looking now forward, actually, I mean, you're like we said, you are mainly involved into the EP development further. Is there anything you're really excited about bringing it online, or?
That's a good question. What I'm really excited about is like I see like over every 6 months or so, we tend to get new updates. Like so every year there's always like some new feature in the system, and it gives us it helps us, like it gives us more ideas. Like for example, if we have a new feature today, we could be like, what can we do with this feature? What other things can we combine together to make it better? Or what new innovations can we create from this? So it's that's why I look forward to every new release.
So indeed, actually, we are actually also customers by Smart Simple, and I was always subscribed to the Smart Simple newsletter. And it's always quite interesting when they drop out the new features, and you're immediately thinking, okay, can we use that, or can we use that? And there was once, I think, those in EP or in their system, you were able to send emails or something. And I had a conversation with Kush immediately, like, is that something we can use, right? And I think it's something we actually use within the bilateral exchange agreements, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You can send directly out of the AP, and that's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming now to Martin, and sorry for saying first, I'm not considering you as a student, but I think you're working full time, but still being a student.
Yeah.
So Martin, tell me a little bit about your experience within ITS, and how is it helping you now still within your PhD, where you have to be normally quite self-organized and so on?
Yeah, so you touched on a good point. So maybe not directly ITS, but IAESTE in general helped me a lot with time management and self-motivation. So we're volunteers, we don't get paid, so you have to find the motivation somewhere else. And for PhD, these are invaluable lectures that you can have that helped me tremendously. Also, now when I think back, something that I really learned by IAS that's maybe not so obvious is I would call it traveling worry-free, because I've been traveling with IAS so much that for my first business trip, I just booked the tickets and went there without worrying, like, okay, what's going to happen there, how I'll get to the hotel and so on, because I knew, okay, I can just go there and basically it will work out in the end. So these little things that you notice later in life that helped you, or that helped you now that you learned during IAESTE. And I'm quite sure I will find a lot more things in the future.
Yeah, I think that's again a very good point, because hopefully we can all travel soon again, and hopefully, like I said, we meet all at the annual conference 2022, wherever it will be. We don't know yet from the ESPL perspective, but then maybe we can have this conversation, hopefully face to face with all of you. Okay, shortcut. Anyone have other last comments, so I can ask you for that? Otherwise, we are now 37 minutes in. I would otherwise close. Okay, I assume this is not, so I continue. So thank you very much, Martin, and actually to all of you for being part of IAESTE and the ITS. I think that's really, you are the core and really the hidden heroes, because we often say, okay, the ITS and Kush are implementing, but of course, normally Kush gets the nice emails about thank you very much, but all those thanks go to you, and I hope Kush is really sharing that all with you too, because like I said, without you, we would be, it would look bad within IAESTE, because then we would not have the data we can analyze, we would not have those cool reports, we would not know the status of our exchange program. And therefore, thank you very much for all your hard work. Thank you very much for being with IAESTE still, and hopefully for a very long time. And if there are any queries to you, there is the email address its@iaeste.org. You can mail them once you're part of the IAESTE association. And therefore, thank you very much for being with us. Have a great day, and